The world is not always fair, and those who play clean often lose to those who do not. Machiavelli understood this uncomfortable truth centuries ago. Power is rarely granted to the innocent, but to the aware. When others manipulate, deceive, or exploit, moral outrage alone will not protect you. What protects you is understanding how power actually works in the human mind. To outsmart someone who plays dirty, you must see clearly, think calmly, and act strategically.
Oh.
This is not about becoming cruel. It is about becoming difficult to deceive.
Knowledge.
Not aggression is your strongest defense. If you wish to outsmart those who play dirty, you must begin with a discipline far more difficult than clever tactics. You must abandon comforting illusions about human nature. Most people do not act from virtue, loyalty, or fairness. They act from advantage, fear, and self-interest. This is not cynicism, it is observation. I have seen more harm done by naive goodness than by honest realism. Those who imagine people to be better than they are place themselves at the mercy of those who know otherwise. Many fall into danger not because they are weak, but because they expect decency where it is not required. They assume gratitude will restrain betrayal, or that kindness will inspire loyalty. In reality, most men remember benefits only when it is convenient, and forget them the moment circumstances change. To rely on goodwill alone is to build your safety on sand. Wisdom begins when you see others clearly, without resentment, without fantasy. This does not mean treating everyone as an enemy. It means understanding that appearances are often masks. People present virtue when it serves them and discard it when it costs them. If you mistake words for intentions, you will be outmaneuvered. If you judge actions instead of promises, you will see the truth. Those who play dirty depend on your reluctance to accept this. They hide behind manners, outrage, or false innocence, knowing you will hesitate. Realism sharpens judgment. When you see people as they are, you stop being surprised by betrayal, manipulation, or sudden shifts in loyalty. Surprise is the greatest weakness in strategy. The man who expects nothing unreasonable is rarely unprepared. He does not waste energy on disappointment. He adapts. Some fear that realism will harden them, make them cold or cruel. In truth, it makes you calm. You no longer take behavior personally. You recognize patterns. You respond instead of reacting. This is where advantage is born, not from aggression, but from clarity. The one who understands human nature does not need to deceive constantly. He simply positions himself wisely. If others choose to play unfairly, you are not required to match their immorality, but you are required to understand it. Ignorance dressed as virtue is still ignorance. And remember this above all: the moment you stop expecting people to be better than they are, you stop being controlled by their worst instincts. If there is one weakness manipulators rely on above all others, it is emotion. Anger, pride, fear, and wounded ego cloud judgment faster than ignorance ever could. Those who play dirty understand this instinctively. They provoke insult, rush, or flatter not to communicate, but to disturb your inner balance. The moment emotion takes command, strategy collapses. Begin to react instead of calculate. Power quietly shifts to the one who remains calm. I have observed that men rarely lose advantage because they lack intelligence. They lose it because they lose themselves. A sharp mind becomes useless when ruled by impulse. Anger pushes you into premature action. Fear makes you retreat when patience is required. Pride tempts you to prove something when silence would serve you better. The manipulator does not defeat you. You defeat yourself on his behalf. Control of emotion is therefore not moral discipline, but strategic necessity. The one who governs his inner state governs the situation. Calmness creates distance. Distance creates clarity. Clarity reveals options invisible to an agitated mind. When others attempt to provoke you, they are offering you a test, not an insult. If you accept the insult, you fail the test. Many believe calmness is weakness. They confuse silence with submission and restraint with fear. This is an error. The calm man observes more, speaks less, and acts at a moment of his choosing. While others exhaust themselves in emotional display, he gathers information. He notices tone, timing, hesitation. He allows others to reveal their motives through impatience. In this way, Emotional control becomes a weapon sharper than any confrontation. Those who play dirty depend on urgency. They want decisions made quickly, reactions delivered publicly, and mistakes committed emotionally. When you slow the pace, you disrupt their advantage. A composed presence unsettles those who rely on chaos. It denies them leverage. It forces them into the open. This does not mean suppressing emotion until it poisons you. It means mastering its expression. Feel what you must, but decide when and how it will be seen. Emotion acknowledged privately loses its power to sabotage you publicly. In strategy, the man who cannot rule himself will always be ruled by others. And the one who remains calm when provoked already stands one step ahead of his opponent. Those who play dirty rarely reveal themselves openly. They rely on speed, pressure, and confusion to hide their intentions. If you speak too quickly, commit too early, or reveal your position without necessity, you hand them an advantage they did not earn. Silence, when used deliberately, is not emptiness. It is a tool that forces others to move first. And whoever moves first reveals more than they intend. I have learned that men expose themselves not through what they declare, but through what they do when left unchallenged. When you resist the urge to explain yourself, to defend your motives, or to rush toward agreement, you create a space where the other person must fill the void. In that space, impatience appears, contradictions surface, ambition slips into view. People betray their aims not when they are questioned, but when they believe they are unobserved. Many mistake silence for indecision. In truth, it is observation in its purest form. When you listen more than you speak, you begin to notice patterns: who interrupts, who pushes for speed, who grows uneasy without reassurance. These behaviors are not random. They are signals. A man who insists on urgency often fears delay. One who presses for clarity may be hiding uncertainty. One who demands trust early usually plans to exploit it. By withholding immediate response, you shift the burden of exposure onto the other. They must justify themselves, must reveal priorities, they must act. Each action provides information. Information is the currency of strategy. The one who knows more decides better. The one who decides better wins without needing confrontation. This does not mean permanent silence or passive waiting. It means choosing when to speak. Words, once released, cannot be retrieved. A single sentence spoken too early can undo months of careful positioning. Restraint preserves leverage. It allows you to respond rather than commit. Those who manipulate fear silence because it removes their control. They thrive on reaction. Deny them that, and they grow careless. In their effort to regain dominance, they expose their true nature. Let them. Your advantage grows quietly while they struggle in the open. Remember this: the man who speaks last often understands the most, and the one who reveals least controls the direction of the game. Those who wish to outsmart others often believe they must appear clever, complex, or unpredictable. This is a mistake. Complexity attracts scrutiny. Predictability, when chosen deliberately, disarms it. When others think they understand you, they stop watching closely. And when they stop watching, you gain room to think and maneuver. Appearances shape expectations, and expectations shape how others behave toward you. I have long observed that men are comforted by what seems familiar. When you present yourself as consistent, reasonable, even ordinary, you lower suspicion. People assume your thoughts follow your words, your intentions match your image. This assumption is useful. It allows you to operate without resistance. While others prepare defenses against obvious threats, they overlook what feels safe. Thus, appearing predictable is often the surest way to remain underestimated. This does not mean becoming passive or transparent. It means separating appearance from intention. Let your outward behavior follow a simple pattern: calm/cooperative, steady while your inner calculations remain flexible and alert. The mistake many make is revealing strategy through performance. They want to be seen as intelligent, powerful, or decisive. In doing so, they announce themselves as players. Once labeled, they are watched, challenged, and tested. Those who play dirty often rely on reading your reactions. They look for signs of ambition, resistance, or rivalry. If you deny them these signals, they grow careless. When they believe you are predictable, they relax. They speak freely. They act openly. They assume control where none has been granted. This is when you see clearly. Strategic thinking thrives in obscurity. The quieter your intentions, the harder they are to oppose. If you reveal your plans through words or gestures, others will shape their behavior to counter you. If your intentions remain concealed behind a modest exterior, you preserve initiative. You choose when to act and how. Do not confuse this with deception for its own sake. Deception used constantly becomes exhausting and transparent. Simplicity, on the other hand, is sustainable. Steady image costs little to maintain and invites little resistance. Let others believe they have measured you fully. Let them grow comfortable with that belief. In strategy, what is seen is rarely what matters most, and the one who appears obvious often hides the deepest advantage. Direct confrontation is often the least intelligent form of power. It satisfies pride, but it exposes intention. Those who play dirty expect you to meet them head-on, to argue, accuse, or retaliate openly. This is where they are strongest. They are prepared for conflict. They are not prepared for strategy. The wiser path is rarely the loud one, is the one that shifts the ground beneath them without announcing itself. I have seen many lose advantage because they mistook force for effectiveness. An open attack alerts your opponent, hardens their position, and invites resistance. Once conflict is visible, everyone chooses sides, and complexity multiplies. Indirect action, on the other hand, operates quietly. It alters conditions rather than engaging personalities. It removes options instead of challenging egos. The opponent often realizes too late that the situation has changed. Psychological leverage works best when it feels natural. If someone relies on intimidation, remove their audience. If they manipulate through urgency, slow the process. If they gain power from reaction, deny it. You are not attacking the person. You are neutralizing the mechanism they depend on. This requires patience and restraint, qualities far rarer than aggression. Those who outsmart others rarely defeat them in a single move. They allow the opponent to weaken themselves. By stepping aside, by refusing the obvious fight, you encourage mistakes. Overconfidence grows, carelessness follows. People who believe they are winning reveal their flaws willingly. This is when advantage accumulates without effort. Indirect strategy also preserves your reputation. Open conflict stains everyone involved. Even victory leaves residue. When you move quietly, outcomes appear circumstantial rather than intentional. This protects you from backlash and allows others to accept results without feeling humiliated. Men remember injuries to pride longer than losses of position. Avoid creating martyrs. Let reality do the work for you. This approach demands discipline. You must resist the urge to prove yourself. You must tolerate moments where action feels slow or invisible. But strategy is not theater. Its purpose is effectiveness, not recognition. The one who insists on being seen often loses control of the outcome. When force is unnecessary, it is foolish. When confrontation can be avoided, it should be. The sharpest victories leave no clear battle to recall. Remember this. The greatest advantage is not defeating your opponent. It is making their defeat feel like the natural consequence of their own choices. Power does not belong to the loud, the aggressive, or even the intelligent alone. It belongs to the one who understands human nature without illusion. All strategy, whether in politics, war, or daily life, rests on this foundation. Men act from desire, fear, vanity, and self-preservation far more often than from reason or virtue. Whoever ignores this truth becomes vulnerable. Whoever studies it gains advantage without force. I have always argued that power is not something seized suddenly. It is accumulated through perception. The man who understands why others act as they do can anticipate them. He sees patterns where others see chaos. He recognizes ambition before it declares itself, insecurity before it demands reassurance, resentment before it turns hostile. This foresight allows him to move early, quietly, and decisively. He is rarely surprised and therefore rarely defeated. Those who play dirty rely on one thing above all: your misunderstanding of their motives. They hide behind principles, emotions, or urgency, hoping you will take their words at face value. When you understand human nature, you do not debate appearances. You observe incentives. You ask who benefits, who fears loss, who seeks recognition. Motive reveals more than language ever could. Once motive is clear, manipulation loses much of its power. Mastery of human nature also teaches restraint. You learn when not to act. You recognize when an enemy will destroy himself without assistance. Many conflicts resolve themselves if given time. Impatient men interfere and inherit unnecessary enemies. Patient men watch, wait, and inherit advantage. Power often lies in allowing others to reveal themselves fully. This understanding also guards you against false confidence. Knowing human nature means knowing your own weaknesses as well. Pride, anger, and impatience are not moral failures alone. They are strategic liabilities. The one who understands others but not himself is only half prepared. Self-knowledge sharpens judgment and prevents costly mistakes. In the end, power is not domination for its own sake. It is the ability to move through a hostile world without being controlled by it. It is clarity in the face of deception, calm in the presence of provocation, and foresight amid uncertainty. Those who lack this understanding are forever reacting. Those who possess it are already deciding. And remember this final truth. The man who understands human nature does not need to play dirty because he has never played at all.